With Courage to Care, I've been chairman for the last 8.5 years, but already had involvement on the committee before that and as a facilitator before that. So probably all in all, 10, 11 years. Courage to Care is perhaps different to other programs, particularly programs offered, for example, by a Holocaust museum, because we are focusing on what I always describe as the only good thing that can have been demonstrated during the time of the Holocaust, and that was the actions of the righteous and other people, perhaps who were not recognised as righteous, the people who did good things in those terrible times. And not just presenting it as a lesson in history to the young people particularly who come along, but rather that is an example, or the example, of moral and ethical behaviour. And it is just as relevant in circumstances in our world today, in their world, in their communities today, as it was under the terrible circumstances of the Holocaust. Our program is in Victoria is a 4-part program. Initially, the students view a film that gives context to anti-Semitism, to the Holocaust in general, to the actions of the righteous, to Jewish resistance, but also focuses on the fact that all of it happened because so many people chose to be bystanders. And our key words that we repeat and again to the students are never be a bystander and that each person can make a difference. So they first see a film. They then hear the personal experience of a survivor of the Holocaust. And the survivors who talk to the students who come are all alive today because someone had shown the courage to care. Our evaluations show that the exhibition and their participation has an enormous impact. The final stage of the program for us is a facilitation session where the students sit in smaller groups with trained volunteers to discuss what they've seen, heard and learnt, but particularly to put the spotlight on their lives today and what the meaning is of everything they've seen in their lives today. We are trying to empower those individuals that in their lives they too can make a difference. And the feedback that we get from students and the comments that they put on the evaluation sheets that we give them show us again and again that that message gets through. They certainly learn something of the Holocaust, but they also take away the message of the important point that they can make a difference. Why was I attracted to B'nai B'rith? Well, as a teenager, I moved from Sydney to Melbourne, and the youth group that existed at that time of AZA and BBYA provided me with social connections. But it also went beyond just social. We organised activities that, when I look back, were pretty amazing for snotty little 15-year-olds to be organising. After that, I had a break, and when my wife and I married, we rejoined B'nai B'rith much later. And the core values of B'nai B'rith are benevolence, brotherly and sisterly love, or fellowship and harmony. And when I think about it, the core values of the Courage to Care message are essentially those. The idea of trying to work towards a harmonious society, of fellowship between different people, they're the fundamental messages of Courage to Care. So it's a natural, to my mind, it's a very natural project for B'nai B'rith to be auspicing and to attract other people who have those values. Australia is a multicultural society. It has provided a tremendous life for me, and this is one way that I feel that I can repay something to Australia for the life that I've been able to enjoy, and I'd like my children and my children's children to be able to live in this sort of harmonious multicultural society. But it can only happen if one is aware of the past and how easily seemingly civilised, democratic, intelligent, achieving societies can descend into chaos. Courage to Care shows the dangers of that, but also shows the hope that human beings have the ability to rise above those base emotions that led to the Holocaust.